Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel all about cross stitch. This is Rosanna, Bright and Dusty, here on YouTube and on Instagram. It's been a little over a month since my last video, and I'm back today with actually quite a few finishes, which I wasn't expecting. I was really intending to do Monogamous May and work on a specific kit I have going, the Garden Hummingbird. But, you know, best laid plans and all that. That didn't really end up happening because a few days before the spring mingle, which was, you know, towards the beginning of May, a few days before that, I started getting sick. And then I just stayed sick. And I'm still not 100% recovered. I think I had a series of infections that I was kind of maybe catching from different places or something. And at one point, both of my eyes had an infection. So long story short, I didn't work on the Garden Hummingbird after that first week or so of May, because that's kind of a complicated pattern and I just wasn't really up for it. So I ended up doing a lot of fill-in on other projects and just working on some, you know, projects that were a little more conducive to my weakened state. But the good news is I did end up getting a few finishes out of that. And I figured I better just hop on and show them. Otherwise, I'm going to have too many things piling up. So this is my Flosstube number 34, I think. And why don't I just start with my finishes? So my FFOs, which are my fully finished objects, I have a couple of small ones and then I have a bigger one. Okay, let me show, let's see. I'll show what I made from the spring mingle class that I took, which that was a online virtual retreat hosted by Lindy Stitches. And I took the class that Nicole Spohr taught. It was called the Needlebug Needlebook. So we had the main project and then we had a bonus project, and I did both of them. So the main project was actually a wool applique, not cross stitch. And we made these really cute ladybug needle books. And you can see it opens. And I have it all decked out with some scissors and doodads. And there's the back. I really enjoyed this class. This was a totally new technique for me. So I thought that was really fun to learn that. Nicole Spohr did an awesome job teaching us how to make this. And I used wool from my stash, so mine doesn't look exactly the way the model looked, but I really like this wool that I had that was like a plaid design, and I'm very pleased with this. So she gave us a couple of bonus mini projects. One of them was this little strawberry made out of wool. This is actually the first strawberry I've ever made, but now that I did one, I think I kind of get the hang of it. So this is just a really cute little wool strawberry pincushion. The other bonus project was a cross stitch. Well, it was a mix. It was cross stitch and then a little bit of wool applique with the miniature ladybug. I backed it with this little floral fabric. I stuffed this mostly with the crushed walnut shells, so it's pretty heavy. Nicole suggested we just use black straight pins here to embellish because it's a pin cushion. And then I just drew my own color, or used my own colors for the stitch part. And I already, well, actually, I did buy these 2026 charms because I think they're really cute. But I already had that little ladybug button just to deck it out a little bit. And this was so cute. I really appreciate that she added in those extras. So yeah, really great class. She taught us how to make this knot, which I'm sure most people who have any sewing experience already know how to do this. But just to make a knot at the end of your thread for when you're starting, and that has been life-changing for me. I do it all the time now. And it was just so nice to have somebody with a lot of experience just show us how to do that really simple technique, and now I can just use it forever. So I was just so happy with that. And okay, so that was the needle bugs. Let's see, my other small FFO. This is a little box I made. I had finished the stitching on this in December. So this mousse has just kind of been hanging out unfinished. I finally just took the time to turn it into this little box top because I learned how to do it for making my small for the Smalls Exchange at Stitch North, so I already had like a pretty good idea of how to do this. And once again, I used a Nicole Spohr tutorial, which I can link that in the description box. But yeah, this is just a little shaker box that I had found thrifting a long time ago. And this was the right size. And it turned out beautiful. This is stitched on 40 count ancient by Picture This Plus using 1 strand of DMC. This chart was in the winter 2019 issue of Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher magazine. Yep, and I just glued the whole top on there, and then I glued the trim around it after it was dry. And I used Aleene's tacky glue, which is very secure. All right, those are my 2 small FFOs. Now I have a bigger one. Last time you saw this, the stitching, the crosses were done, the back stitching was not done. And I had taken a break on this. I think I took a break starting in March. And then when I was sick the past few weeks, I was like, well, I'm already miserable. Why don't I just do like 12 hours of back stitching? So I actually don't know if it was that long, but it was a lot of back stitching. And this is the Spring House by Cute Patterns by Maria. I use this thrifted frame that I think suits it perfectly. I did have to cut off a little bit of the gate down at the bottom, but that's okay. Yeah, if I wasn't going to use this frame, my other option was kind of a large oval, and that was just going to take up a lot of wall space, and I just prefer the look of this. So here's a little more close view. So as you can see, all those windows are backstitched the windows themselves and then like the casement, I guess that's what it would be called, is also backstitch. The door, the fence, the outline of the roof, that spire at the top, the little, what would they be called? Finials? I don't know. I'm not an architect, but and I will tell you, this is not all the backstitching in the chart. I took maybe like 15 minutes one day. I really examined the pattern and I just made judicious decisions about the backstitching that I thought was important and that I wanted. Because there was even more in the chart. But I just decided some of it was too redundant. Like there was more outlining in the windows. There was some outlining of like this light colored areas that I just didn't really think were necessary. I thought that stood out fine. And yeah, so I just decided, okay, I know the backstitching that I want to do. I'm going to take the time to do that, but I'm not doing all of it. And that was just a personal choice, and I'm really happy with the way it looks. I don't have any issue with this. I think it looks finished. I think it looks good. And yeah, this looks so fantastic up on the wall. I shared a picture to Instagram where it was juxtaposed to my girl at the Christmas window, which I thought was kind of funny because, you know, that girl, you know, I imagine is me, with all the Christmas decorations. And then I'm just picturing her like inside this house when it's the middle of springtime. But the interior of her house is all Christmas. So I just thought that was a funny like way to imagine it. But yeah, this I consider to be, you know, my ultimate dream house. This beautiful green Victorian. And Cute Patterns by Maria has a whole series of seasonal houses. I don't know if I would do another one. I think I'm probably like satisfied with having this one. But this is a gorgeous chart, gorgeous finish. This is a 36 count linen by Fiber on a Whim, and I'm sorry, I don't remember what the color is. I used 2 strands of DMC. This chart does have a lot of blends, so I needed to use 2 strands. So I'm really proud of this. This has been a whip for 2 years. And I took a long break in the middle there. I mean, I wasn't working on it for probably like a year, but it's been in my whips for a long time. And now it's finished. Okay, that takes us to the end of my fully finished objects. I have 2 more loose finishes. I'm just gonna... So one of my finishes that I haven't framed or anything, this is by the Primitive Needle and it is called the Hallow Game Board. And I stitched this on a 36 count doubloon linen by Picture This Plus using 1 strand of the called for floss. That floss, it's Classic Colorworks Black Coffee and Classic Colorworks Fallen Leaves. And I could just tell you, I bought 2 skeins of both colors at the beginning because I wasn't sure how much I was going to need. I used almost 2 whole skeins of Black Coffee. So this is all that's left. For the Fallen Leaves, I have an entire skein left over. I used almost 1 entire skein. So yeah, that was with 1 strand on 36. Picture this plus. So yeah, I don't regret getting the 2 skeins of the Fallen Leaves. I'm sure I'll use it for something else. But yeah. So this isn't the most interesting thing in the world to stitch. I mean, clearly the checkerboard part is all fill-in, and then these parts are repeated, so it's a little tedious, but I love the finished look. I really wanted this to hang on my wall, so, you know, it was worth it for me. There is a wintertime companion to this. It's called the Yule game board. It's red and green. I want to stitch that one. I don't want to do it immediately, but I do want to stitch that one someday because I really love that one too. But I'm super happy with how this turned out. And yeah, I don't really have anything else to say about it, I guess. I have one other chart so far that I've purchased from the Primitive Needle website. So I would maybe like to get that one done before I buy another one. That one's not very big. It's not as big as this. Oh, this, if you're curious, in Pattern Keeper, it was 7,712 stitches. And I don't know if this has been fixed at this point, but it loaded into Pattern Keeper a little weird. I didn't end up using it in Pattern Keeper. I just marked them off, you know, on my iPad. So I don't really know. It was fine. I mean, this is not a complicated chart, but yeah. But yes, 7,700 stitches. And I can't really fully finish this yet because I have another project like started on the other side. So I want to just keep the fabric whole so that I can use it in my hoop. So probably won't be seeing that one finished for a long time. And now I believe we have finally come to my last finish. This is Sugar by Stacy Nash. And he's done. This is hot off the presses. I just finished this after I woke up this morning. I just had like a little bit more X's to do, and then I had to do that little bit of back stitching. And I just got it done. I wanted it to be done. And yeah. So I didn't really use the called for floss for the most part. This green I pulled from my stash for the sweater. It's called Desert Mesquite by Classic Colorworks. And as you can see, this is what I have left. I was cutting it really close. I was like, oh no, I'm not gonna have enough. I did, just barely. So this is 1 strand on a 40 count. Except for the black, the 310, I used 2 strands. Everything else is 1 strand. So yeah, for that sweater on a 40 count, you need a full skein. 5-yard skein. But I am happy with this. I think he's super cute. And this shouldn't be too difficult to, you know, turn into a stand-up. I'll probably try to do that in the next couple of weeks here. But, yeah. Oh, we had, it was really funny. A few weeks ago, I was in the morning, I was like looking at the bird feeder and the birds and everything outside our front window. And then across the street in the neighbor's yard, I was like, what is that? And I got a couple pictures. It was a skunk. Sugar came to visit us. Real life Sugar came to visit us here in the middle of my town. We don't really see skunks around here, you know, of course they prefer to live in the woods. So that was really strange. I did not, you know, I didn't open the door or anything, go outside. I didn't want to startle Sugar for obvious reasons. But yeah, he was just kind of exploring over in the neighbor's yard for a little bit, and then he wandered off, and I haven't seen him since, so. And then a few days after that, we had a deer, which we also don't see too much on this side of town. But we had a deer, and the deer was like checking out our bird feeder, and yeah, then she went away, so. Lots of wildlife at this time of year. But yeah, this took a long time to stitch. I was filling this in for weeks, but I love how it turned out. I have a few other animal well, I think I have 2 more charts. I have Millie the elephant, and then I have one of the bunnies. I forget what her name is. I think it might be Harriet. And then I really want to buy that goat with the firecracker that just came out. But I don't know if I should maybe try to do Millie or Harriet first, since I already have those. But yeah, but these are good to have for fill-in. So I might get another one started. I also have a bunch of the little like houses. Like I got at the Jingle Ball, the gingerbread house, and there was another house. I love those by Stacey Nash. I really want to do one. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. Okay, we've come to the end of my finishes. So I did have a really big finishing streak, which I'm super happy about that. Even though I was sick, I was able to be pretty productive with my stitching. I mean, I wasn't really doing much else. I was really tired. But, you know, I still managed to get a lot of stitching done. I forgot to say this, this version of the spring house, I didn't do the trees in the background. So my version here in Pattern Keeper was 10,164 stitches, if you're curious. If you did it with the trees, it would be more than that, I think by about 1,500 stitches or something. What else? Let me get into my whips. I only have 3 because again, mostly I was finishing. So I made some progress on TV Dinner by Perfidious Beadworks on Etsy. This is stitched on an 18 count Aida. I dye myself. This is all DMC. This is what it looks like when it's finished. I recharted this so I could use it in Cross Stitch Saga, and I am at 42.63%. 0.63. Does that even make any sense? Look, I'm at 42%, and since the last time you saw it, I put in 770 stitches. I'm stitching this in hand, so it goes a little faster. And I'm almost finished with the drumstick area. And then I have these, you know, 2 other sections to tackle. I just think this one's so cute. I don't know. I like it. Okay, why don't I show Garden Hummingbird? Like I said, I did make some progress on it. Here's a before picture of the last time you saw it. This is what it looks like when it's totally done. And here is where I am. So I added this flower. Yeah, this flower and a lot of this greenery is all new. So I did pretty good. I think it was maybe the 2nd week of May. I was doing pretty good with the plan to monogamous stitch. But like I said, then I got sick and that just kind of went out the window. But I'm pleased with what I was able to do. But yeah, I just really want to get out of the flowers and the greenery. I want to get back up to that gazebo. I'm kind of tired of those pink flowers. I think I have one more, but it's looking good. The hummingbird is stunning, and there's blending filament in there so it sparkles. I don't think you can really tell. But I'm not using the kit materials for this. This is a Jobelin. I think it's a 32 count, and then DMC. Okay, and this is actually my last whip. I forgot to bring out the cover image. This is the Santa's Truck stocking. Here is what it will look like when it's finished. This is a dimensions kit. So yeah, the other thing that happened was I wasn't feeling well. And I was just like, you know, I just want to work on Christmas. I don't care what time of year it is. I want to feel happy. So I love this project so much. This is an 18 count Aida. It's not the kit Aida. I've explained before, I got it at a thrift store and there was like a cigarette smell, so I had to throw it out. So this is not the kit Aida. It is the kit floss. I was able to wash the floss and it doesn't really have an odor anymore. Here is where I was the last time you saw this. And then what I've been doing is filling in the wreath. That's pretty much all I was doing, a little bit down here as well. But I want to get the wreath done and then maybe go back up and start doing this stuff. But yeah, this is one of my favorite whips right now. I don't know, I think it's something about the red. And I've honestly just been thinking about the other Christmas kits I have that have a lot of red. And you know, after this one is done, which one I might move on to next. But this is also just really well designed, and it's coming out beautiful. And I'll just show you quick, this needle minder I picked up during the spring mingle from Lindy Stitch's shop. It's a Christmas store, Christmas shop, and it is by Flamingo Toes. And it is so adorable. So I don't think it's gonna focus if I, but yeah. So that was a little bit of haul from Spring Mingle. Spring Mingle? Yeah. I'm getting all these events confused because like sometimes I want to say Midsummer Stitch, but no, it was a Spring Mingle. Okay. So that's the end of my finishes and the end of my whips. Really quick, I did draw another name for this kit because the original winner never contacted me, even though I tried to track them down like through the comments, but I still never heard from them. So I pulled another name. So the new winner, if you happen to be watching, is K Carter 2132. If that's you, go ahead and email me, brightanddusty@gmail.com. That email will be in the description box. And just give me your name and mailing address, and I can send this out to you. This is the Afternoon Nap Kit by Bucilla. And then I did pull two other things for new giveaways. This is a magazine I had a duplicate of. It's Just Cross Stitch from December 2021. So if you're interested in that and you live in the United States, why don't you use the number 1 in your comment? Here's a glimpse of like the projects that are in here. So yeah, numeral 1 in your comment, please be located in the United States. Please be over 18. Please don't use any trigger words like giveaway, win, prize, etc. This one I can send anywhere. This is Tiny Modernist Christmas Doors. And I think this was like an extra in a world of cross stitching. But it's just like a little pamphlet. I could send it anywhere, domestic or international. So if you're interested in this, just use numeral 2 in your comments. Same deal. And I'll draw winners for those next time. Okay. Let me do Save the Stitch. I just brought out 2. If you follow me on Instagram, you already saw these, but I found these at the same thrift store, so I suspect they may have been stitched by the same person. This first one is called Jenny, and it is a vintage leaflet by Jan Hagara. And I know that this was also available, I think, as like an embellished embroidery thing, but this is the cross stitch. So there was also a cross stitch leaflet for this design by Jan Hagara. And here it is. It's a little girl holding a doll. And I will be honest with you, this is not my usual style. You know, this is not the type of thing I really have displayed. However, the stitching on this was just so perfect that I was kind of enchanted by it. It's on an 18 count Aida, and the stitches are just so even. This person was very, very meticulous, and it's really beautiful. And I like the oval frame. When I bought it, I was like, well, maybe I'll take it out. I'll use the frame for something else. But I don't know. I'm reluctant to take it out of here. I think it looks really good. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I like having examples of other stitching around me of things to like aspire to in terms of technique. And this is one of them. All right, the other one that I think might be stitched by the same person, this one's bigger. This is by Paula Vaughan, and it is called the Upstairs Sewing Room. Yeah, this was custom framed. It looks like a typical 90s frame job with the big mat. The stitching on this is lovely. I plan to hang this up in my craft room because it's got the sewing machine and it's really cute. But yes, beautiful stitching, beautiful framing. And it's in really great condition. I don't see any like wrinkling or yellowing. It looks gorgeous. This one's framed under glass. Jenny was not. But Jenny is also in really good condition. Like there wasn't any stains or anything. So these were really lucky finds. They were very inexpensive. I was happy to grab them. And yeah, hopefully find a place to hang them up on my ever shrinking walls. All right, so that's all I brought out for Save the Stitch today. Now I'll do a little bit of haul, and I got a couple of things from Lindy Stitches during the spring mingle that I'll show, and then the rest of it is going to be vintage. So let me go grab that stuff. All right, my haul segment is not going to be that long. I have some of the stuff from Lindy Stitches. Then I have some thrifting finds. I have a couple of eBay finds, and then just a couple of books I wanted to show specific things out of. So I'm not going to do any like long flip throughs or anything. But okay, so from Spring Mingle, I showed that needle minder. I also picked up this pattern. It's called the Stitchin Kitten Designs, and she is called Bryn. So she's a witch. And I just love her fall colors. So yeah. I always like stitching witches. And she's a really cute one. And then the other thing I picked up was the Happinness is Homemade cookbook. This was from the Nashville Needlework Market, but Lindy Stitches had some left during the spring mingle, so I did pick up one of these from their online shop. And I'm really excited because there are several patterns in here I want to do. There's a really, really cute one by Boomerang Stitches that I'll probably do first. So yeah, that's what I got from the virtual retreat. I also got a couple of like PDFs, but I don't think I really need to show those. All right, let me do thrifting. So here's a kit I found. It's called Santa Quintet. So dimensions. And it says copyright 1998. Comes with everything. Yeah, this kind of reminds me of Santas and Fable, the Santas of Fable and Fantasy I finished a couple of years ago. So yeah, I might do this someday. Super cute. This is an anchor kit. Here's the information. It's called Harbour, spelled with a U because they're from the UK. But look at that. I mean, wow. That is so pretty with those bright houses and that red boat. I absolutely love it. All right, this is actually a stamped kit, which I've never tried, but I think I'm gonna give it a shot with this one. This is called Pinot Grigio by Dimensions. And I love this colorful culinary design. So I'm gonna give it a shot. I'm gonna use the fabric they provide, where you can see you stitch where the X's are printed. And I'll see how it turns out. But this is such a gorgeous design. I don't see a year. Oh wait, 2012. The year on that was 2012. This was kind of crazy. I found a Blackbird book. It's called For My Friend, Blackbird Designs. This isn't 100% cross stitch, but it does have a lot of cross stitch in it. I really want to do this house and maybe turn it into the box top like they did. It also comes with a red sampler. And there were some hearts in here that I really liked. Yeah, like this heart with a bird. I think there's 2 of these. I love the way they made these hearts like super, super skinny. So yeah, there's a stocking. And yeah, a couple of other like small charts. I think the first one I would do is that house. Oh yeah, that was a lucky find. Now I'll show a couple things I got on eBay. So I said I was like really thinking about like red Christmas kits. This one popped up on eBay, Luca S. It's number B578. Down here it just says Santa Claus. I guess that must be the title. I looked at the pattern. The great thing about this is that I don't think there's any backstitching. So it's big. This is a big project. But I do like the idea that there's not any backstitching. And I like that it's Christmas with a lot of red. So that might be something I tackle. This one, This one was pattern only. But, you know, these Dimensions kits are kind of up in the air at the moment. I don't know when or if they're going to be re-released. So I'm picking up charts when I can snag them on eBay. And this one is Sleigh Ride, the stocking. So, yeah, it came with the chart and the cover page, and I would have to kit it myself. But I love this design. That was it for eBay. Now there's just like a couple of specific things I wanted to show in a few books. First of all, I found this book. It's called Santa Claus, An American Treasure. Here's what it looks like. This is one of those leisure arts. I was just really surprised flipping through here because it includes Christmas patches, which is this Santa design, which I know is quite popular. And it can be kind of hard to find sometimes. So I just wanted to point it out in case you had been looking for this, that here is another avenue to finding it. Yeah, Christmas patches. And it is available in this book. It's also available as like a leisure arts leaflet. And I know it pops up, you know, fairly regularly, but I am aware that some people, you know, have been trying to track that one down. Here's another book I picked up. It's one of these Better Homes and Gardens, A Cross-Stitch Christmas. This one's called Holiday Memories. And then first of all, it has this really cool stocking of Santa as a fisherman with some little elves. I discovered that this chart is also available through Stitch World X Stitch as a vintage leaflet, and it's called Fishing Buddies. I just happened to stumble upon that online. I was like, wait a minute. That's the same chart that's in this book. So if you're hunting for it, I would also search Fishing Buddies by Stitch World X Stitch. The other chart I love in this book is this beautiful tree by Ursula Michael. It has a lot of sparkly thread in the ornaments. So this was a pretty cool book. I won't go through the whole thing. It's copyright 2005 by Craftways. I love these books. Every time I find one, I just pick it up because the Craftways Cross-Stitch Christmas books have a lot of good stuff in them. Speaking of which, I think this is the last one I'll show. This isn't new haul. I've had this for a while, but this is a Cross-Stitch Christmas Yuletide Traditions. This one is copyright 2016. And what I am planning to do is the cover project, which is the barn. I am planning to start this for Christmas in July. I've decided I am not going to do the bottom area with the snow. I'm cutting it around here, which means I'm not going to do the little cat, which I was kind of sad about, but I wanted to make this a little more comparable to a 5x7 kit. It's not going to be quite 5x7. It's going to be like 6x6, 6x6.5, something like that, if I cut it off. So that's my plan. There's a lot of backstitch in that barn, which it is what it is. sometimes you just gotta do the backstitch. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I forgot. I don't think so. Thanks for stopping by today. And now that my streak of finishes is over and I'm almost recovered from my illnesses, I am hoping to get back to the garden hummingbird. I wasn't able to do monogamous May, but maybe I can do monogamous June here. And yeah, hopefully I'm not forgetting anything. But until next time, happy stitching. Bye.